bowels of One Half Radio Plaza at Life Media Studios.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to Real Country Radio.
Congratulations, Detroit. You can be thoroughly ashamed of yourself. The homicide tool has reached a nice even 750. Details on the latest leveling from Police Sergeant.
Coming up now, we're going to start off the set with...
In the morning.
Bucket-Bloods Tigers could use this guy's talent.
Have you had time to get ready?
I don't waste any time getting ready. I stay ready.
Do you have a long cord charger?
Yeah.
Oh, Waegele, what did you do? Did you forget your charger?
I
had to put my phone on it, and it's probably not charged up.
We switched to him. We was happy. I wasn't.
I'm gonna step out and figure out a charge cord. You guys keep talking.
Okay, so welcome to Sidetrack. Kind of an interesting or different show tonight. Adam is working to get himself ready to leave for Mata next week, so he had to bail on us. And Charles' son Christian is graduating on soon, and the graduation party is on Saturday, I think. And so he's kind of getting things prepped for that. So you're left with us idiots. But we brought our friends, and we brought fun friends along. So one of them, why are you in here twice, Laura?
I don't.
Okay. Well, that's okay. We can fix it. It's just, I just wondered if we were suddenly starting to watch Multiplicity and Michael Keaton was going to show up on screen here in a minute, but you know, it is what it is. So, so Cody and I both went and shot a Northwest hook a couple of days after we had Brad Stull and Dakota Beamer on, and we went down to Waegele's neighborhood, and what do you know? Here he comes trotting around on the side-by-side after the show, and we get to talking, and then we got to telling some old stories about Mound City and, you know, some of the fun times that we had there back in the day. And Mound City is not over. When I said telling old stories in the past as if it wasn't there, it's not. We're still on. It's what, 2 weeks away? Chris, how many weeks away are we?
21, 22nd.
There we go. So we are about 2 weeks away from Chris's show out as far west as the Western Series gets, I think.
No, we changed that.
McLeod is farther west, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. You're probably right.
McLeod.
We were just.
Yeah.
All right,
and
so
Beloit,
I don't know
we were in
geography.
Beloit. That's farther west.
Oh, that's right. You guys were way out there.
Middle of nowhere, Kansas.
So, and now Chris and Mitchell Corbin have decided to join us to show us how they operate cell phones. And he's going to hit me so hard next time he sees me. But
hey,
but I convinced them to come on, both of them, to come on, and you know, we kind of, well, basically, for lack of a better term, we'd shoot the shit about Mound City and what's happened, what's, you know, how it grew, what it is now, and you know, what we're expecting different, and all that kind of good stuff.
well, let's start with you talking about how far west. This will be the furthest west you can see the Grandview Gangsters.
Champions.
That's true.
And
All the champions.
yeah, the Champions Tour guys, you know, this is as far as they go. I think the mod trucks do go to McLeod, so a little further west. And by the way, McLeod is one heck of a pull. I love that pull. I love that venue. They do a fantastic job down there too. So I'll put a plug in for McLeod, Kansas.
Cheers. We'll drink to that.
You bet you. I'll be there too. Vince and I'll both be there. He does a wonderful job down at McLeod, so I wanted to give him a plug. But no, this is as far west as you're going to see the pro stock tractors. You know, we didn't have them last year. Of course, everybody knows the situation with PPL a year ago. and up in arms and getting going late. And we decided to try the 5.0s, which is the class we're building for. And we all know the rest of the story. We didn't get enough of them built, and low turnout. And but that's nobody's fault. And, that's just parts have been so hard to get since COVID. And
Yep.
I know things are getting better now, but there's still guys sitting waiting on parts. And that 5.0 class is going to be a huge deal. We know it is. It's ITPA went to it this year, and there's going to be a lot of 5.0 tractors. Bottom line is this year, PPL is going strong. Got a great lineup of pro stocks pre-committed, and we're bringing them back to Mound City. And I'm so tickled we got them back.
Yeah, we are too. And I think that's always been one of the crowd favorites there. That crowd always gets behind well, I don't know. You always kind of bring in the all-star classes. At least for out our direction, because 85s are always big, 4.1s are always big. 3.0 diesel trucks, there's always a bunch of those guys around. And the big pros and light supers, and everybody kind of goes nuts for them.
Now, this year, we've got a brand new class to Rumble by the Refuge. This is our 12th year, but if you put the floods in, this will actually be about our 15th year. But we flooded out about 3 times. So, but this is our 12th official year to have a poll. Let's hope we do. Praise the Lord. But this year we're bringing in the Light Pro class. Silver Series Light Pros. Fantastic class. Love those tractors. I love them. Love watching them run. And, there again, a lot of guys are building. And I know there's a few that are not going to be ready, but talking to Clint last night, we're going to have a solid class of light pros. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I am too. It's always fun to see those guys. And I mean, you've had a few light pros who have been there, or maybe it was just one. Was it just Hopkins?
Yeah, Justin Hopkins has been there because that's back, when the light pro first started, we let him run with the 4.1s.
Right.
Justin ran a whole year with the 4.1s here in the Western Series. And, that was very competitive at the time. But as you know, with all the upgrades and, new turbos, better fuel system, blah, 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 those light pros, I don't know. I'd hate to say now if a 4.1 could run a light pro. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Heads up, I don't think they could.
Make the weight different. It would be different, but pound for pound, those things are dynamite.
Yeah, they are. So let's go back to when we started and all of that. And we can come back and hit the sales pitch one more time, towards the end. But I mean, we've got a bunch of folks here who are not on the planning committee, but they are absolutely the ass kickers who make this show go. Amy and Chris and Laura, they've been on the involved in the Western Series as long as I can remember. And Amy, when did you get started? And Laura, when did you get started?
I started with the Western Series the very first year. I'd been working for the Champions Tour since like 2005, I think. And as soon as the Western Series, since its inception, Tucker and I are the only two that have been here since the beginning. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but been here since the first hook dropped.
Laura, what about you? Laura, you have to hit the unmute button.
Laura, did we lose Laura?
No, Laura just is choosing not to hit her, use her words. She's just using She's talking away, and she doesn't realize that she's on mute. And now I think she does, but she can't figure out how to fix it.
Well, until Laura fixes it, let me say this. Me personally, and I know Mitch will vouch for this, our pull goes off like clockwork. The way we have the pit set up and the way they go to scales and the way they go to the track, I guarantee you one thing. When you come to our pull, you will be lined up right and you will cross the scales right. And
That's Amy.
That's Amy.
Because if not, you have to answer to the lady in the corner, and she will not be happy with you.
I consider myself aggressively helpful. I'm not bossy. I'm just aggressively helpful. And to Mitchell and Chris's credit, they have a great group of tow tractor drivers that take direction from a sassy redhead fairly well, and they listen and they follow directions. And so I almost put in my title pit boss, but then I thought that's not actually what they call me. But anyway, that's okay. But I do like working with your crew there. And yeah, you're dang right. I can get everybody lined up. I got 110 tractors lined up in about an hour and 45 minutes one year because I have a great crew of people that knows that this is important and you're going to listen and we're going to do it right. And we did it and it went off without a hitch. So I appreciate the vote of confidence, but your guys really help a lot in that. They don't argue with me and it just works better that way for everybody.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Amy, the year that we have a pull and you don't show up, I'm done.
Aw,
I'm done.
you're sweet.
I'm done because you know what I do. I ride around in the Ranger and I put out fires, and that's my job. I just ride around, put out fires, and I never ever have to worry about you and getting them to the scales and to the track. I'll drive to the west end, and there'll be no less than 30 tractors lined up, ready to take the sled at any time. And
Right.
You can't ask for any more than that. You can't ask for any more than that. You do a fantastic job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But that's why you work with the professional puller, the pro pulling league. That is our job, is so that when you hire us, that we're making sure that it's not guy backed into my car here. Seriously? You hired us.
That's a first. Write it down. We've had an accident while the podcast was being recorded.
I don't know if it's actually he backed into my car or the bass is so loud because it's making my car vibrate. But anyway,
all of a sudden are witnesses.
Yeah. But no, I mean, you hired us to do a job, and that's my responsibility, is to take that off your plate. And I try really hard to make sure you don't have to worry about it because you got enough other stuff to deal with on the day of the pull. So
there is a ton of stuff to deal with it, as anybody knows that tries to promote. And once again, I need to clarify. This poll was, when it started, the firemen came to us. It came to Mitchell and I because we was pulling, and we want to have a tractor pull. And I told them, no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't want to have a pull. Why? Well, why not? Well, there's a lot of things we'd have to do to have a tractor pull. I don't think anybody, there's people out there that realize it, but the things that you have to do, the dirt you got to haul in to have quality tracks, because, I told them, number one, we will not get the pullers unless we have quality tracks. And that was just a start. And the rest is history. The firemen were so good to work with, and it's all for charity. 100% of the money that comes from this pull is paid out in scholarships there's 4 schools in Holt County. That's the county we reside in. There's 4 schools, public schools, and all the profits that we make goes to scholarships to kids from them 4 schools. And I want to point that out. nobody makes any money off of this other than the vendors. Us, we want the community to have a good time, and we want to give scholarships. That's why we.
Laura, you still can't talk. Cat still got your tongue.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Laura. Change the go into the audio and change the microphone settings. Ryan, Melissa's in the waiting room.
Oh, cool. So she is. Kirkaway, tell us how you got involved and what you do.
I guess kind of got started back in the day whenever that poll kind of first started with Nebraska bush pollers, and I think it was Northwest Missouri. Correct me if I'm wrong, Waegele. Was that the ones that had the first polls down there?
Actually, Wildcat first one.
Actually, our first poll was a Wildcat.
Okay.
It was not sanctioned by anybody. We got our own insurance and we did it, and it went off and it was successful. But then the next year we went to Nebraska Bush and brought you in, and of course, once again, bragging up my people. I call you guys all my people because you are, and Chris has done a killer job announcing for me ever since.
Mm-hmm.
I try.
We really, really appreciate everything you've done for us. You've had to work with a lot of different people, and I think you're going to work with another different one this year. And but you've always been the rock. You know what I mean? You're the rock. You know what's going on. You know how it works, and to help you, it goes off without a hitch.
Well, Waegele, you don't have to suck up to me. I'm coming down there anyway, so it's like you don't have to say good things. It's like I'm still on my way there. But no, I do appreciate it. I mean, honestly and truly, yeah, with what the improvements that you guys have made to the announcer stand from what it first started off to what it is now, it makes it an easy job to do. I mean, it really does. And then working with some of the guys and ladies that I've worked with in the past, we try to make it work as best we can. I mean, it never seems to have a major hitch or a hiccup or anything like that. And it's just because of how organized you guys are and getting everything set up down there too. So that helps.
We appreciate that. We try. It's for anybody that's never promoted a pool, it's a year-round job. It's year-round. I mean, I'm dealing with something in November, December, January. There's always something involved with putting on a pool, and it's year-round. But you know what? For those 2 nights, if we can just not get any rain, and we run 110 hooks down that track, and I'm sitting there when that last hook goes down there, and Laura, if you can hear me, pulls that chain out, I'm so happy. So happy. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And the crowd loves it, and everybody goes home happy. That's what we're looking for.
Oh, she's still on mute. Hang on.
Nope.
Let me try and.
I was going to say, we're happy when we get done too, because that means the real party begins.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Cheers.
Cheers. I have to say that it is my favorite time on Friday night to get to have the promoter sing Leroy Van Dyke's The Auctioneer song so I can go dancing. There's no other poll that does that. So it's always a good time.
Well,
hell, I haven't even heard that. That's going to have to happen this year.
I was going to say, I haven't heard that either.
Oh,
Melissa, have you take yourself off mute and say hello, please?
Hello, everyone.
How are you, darling?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah. Have you heard Waegele sing the Auctioneer song?
I don't know that I've heard it at Mound City, but I may have heard it at other places.
All right.
I break out my dancing shoes for Friday night, man. I can't wait.
Well, You know, I turned 65 this year, so I don't sing quite as good as I used to.
That's a Toby Keith song. Not as good as I once was.
I ain't as good as I once was. Yeah, exactly. I'm good once as I ever was. It gets tougher every year.
Hello.
Oh my God, her phone
She can
works.
be heard.
Wow, would you look at
Wow.
that?
I had to shut everything down.
I see.
So
I see. So when did you get started dropping the hook or unhooking the hook?
the
Western
beginning?
Series for
Say. The Western Series, I think 2013 was
Okay.
my first time. So, because I met Tucker at Coal Camp in 2012, and then he brought me on the following year.
I remember that year.
Camp was that an MSTPA event?
Yep.
Okay,
It
that's
would
what
be
I thought.
First Western Series hook we had. Is that not correct, Laura? You didn't unhook for the first Nebraska push hook.
No, your hook. I think I came up there as a spectator, and I was sitting there getting ready to watch it or whatever, and you were like, "Did you bring your stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah." And you were like, "Okay, you got a job tonight."
That could be true. I think maybe you hooked them all but one, our very
Yeah.
first, or unhooked them. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. So.
No, there again, Laura, I'm gonna send kudos your way. You're a rock. All you guys are that help us every year. You're like family to us, and make the show go so smooth. So, and believe it or not, I think there's people that go to polls just to see you. I know that's a crazy analogy, but you've kind of got a cult following.
Just a little bit.
Pull this hook out.
Mostly the Colt.
Right.
You know, it's pretty amazing. It really is. We should probably put you on the poster.
No. Well, thank you.
You know, here's our poster. You know, we've got, of course, Ultimate Pro Stock in the Nation, the River Rat. We should have a picture with you pulling the hook out of the back of the River Rat.
Yeah. It's just my job.
We know some photographers who could make that happen if you really, really wanted it to.
We'll get one of those this year, Ruth.
All right. We can do that. All right, Amy, you started to talk about Mound City After Dark. Hit us with some stories, and then let's.
Okay. Well, one is obviously it's one of the neatest venues in the sense that unless it has a torrential downpour, and sometimes the torrential downpour has led to the band getting there a little earlier, but there is nothing better than in a summer night than live band, the tractor pull, cold beer, or whiskey and Coke, whatever your drink of choice is. Everybody, you're hot, you're tired, but it's still like so fun to just enjoy the time together. It's never a bad idea. I mean, bad ideas come from that, but it's never.
There's
a
lots
bad
of those.
Idea. No, and it's always a fun band, and getting to hear good old live music and dance a little bit. What's really fun is watching tractor pullers who really can't dance. It's a lot of white boy comes out, and the colder the beer, the better the dance moves.
You mean
I feel like we're really close to calling names out here.
Just go ahead. It's our show. We can call out whoever the hell we want.
Hold on.
Steve Keir. There is nobody that dances as questionably as Steve Keir. He's so fun.
Cody, maybe make a note of that. We may need to back some of
Ed
this up with video
Walker.
claims
I have
this
had
year.
Ed Walker dancing. Sled guy Ed. I mean,
Is that right?
Oh my gosh. He danced with Hannah. Oh gosh, I don't even know how many years ago. Yeah, it's really fun though. You know, people that you just wouldn't think about it, and they have enough liquid encouragement that they don't care anymore. And yeah, it's a great time. So and again, having Chris sing one of my favorite polkas. I've been known to take a spin around the gravel bar there at the little gravel pad. It's a good time. So yeah, that's one of my favorite memories. Another favorite memory, and this was actually not exactly supposed to be at the after dark, but Mother Nature made it after dark. Watching us try to tarp the track the year of the torrential downpour, and they made,
Thank you, Ross. Appreciate that.
And they turned one of the Bausma boys into like a piñata, trying to hold. He looked like a hot air balloon going up, trying to hold the tarp down. He was airborne, which is, I'm sure, no small feat. But that I have never been so unbelievably, horribly drenched. I mean, we got back to the hotel that
2020,
night.
I remember it.
Oh my God. I'll have to find pictures and drop the pictures of us sitting at the hotel afterwards. It literally soaked to the bone, mud everywhere. It was crazy. Absolutely crazy.
That was crazy.
And didn't we pull the next night? I mean,
yes.
That's just it. It's because the track we had it, everything was done right, and the guys worked their butts off the next day, and you guys, I don't know, redirected water, and Mother Nature cooperated, and it was like 109% humidity, and we still managed to have a great pull the next day on a track that nobody the night before would have given you 2 cents to drive down.
Yep.
That was bad. It was really bad. The lightning was bad.
Yeah.
Telephone pole right next
Yeah,
to it.
looking back on it, we probably should have done it because it was so bad. But yeah, I have been wet my life many times. But that night, when that was over, I went and sat in my truck and turned the heater on high and sat there trying to dry out because, I mean,
it was bad.
My tennis shoes were full of water.
I remember that.
But we got the dang tarp on and it saved the track. And that's all that mattered because the next day we had a hell of a pull.
Right.
Mitch, didn't you have a tractor get struck by lightning that year?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did? I thought it was Mitch's.
No, it was sitting there that year. It got hit.
8345R.
Oof.
It had the vertical till on it. You know, we use vertical till on the track.
Yep.
It was sitting out there in the bullpen.
Normally it's mine, but that year I took his out there.
Yeah. And we go out the next morning, fire this thing up. It's dead. I mean, dead. It won't do anything. Luckily, we have a fantastic John Deere dealership here in town. And we call their
Heritage Equipment, right? Or Hiawatha.
Hiawatha Implement.
Hiawatha Implement.
And we called their number one mechanic who works for Mitch and I both. And he come down there, and 2 hours later, he come over to me and says, "This son of a bitch is dead." That something has happened bad. Long story short, lightning hit it and fried the computer. Well, this tractor wouldn't do anything. They had to tow it up to John Deere. We had to bring another tractor in, another vertical till, because I had it backed up against the fence. Couldn't get the vertical till off. So we brought in another one and another tractor, and we got it done. We made it work.
Yeah. We've had some fun.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's got to be, every good Western Series hook has at least one Randy Stuckenschneider story. We may as well get that out of the way and tell it now.
Woo!
I don't know which one it is, and I'm not referring to one in particular, so y'all can He's not here to defend himself, so we can throw him under the bus a little bit.
Oh, I'm not throwing Red under the bus. He is he's ornery as all get out, but he's truly one of the nicest guys. I will say this, and I mean it with every fiber of my being. When my mom was diagnosed with cancer, he was one of the first people to call and talk to me, make sure I was doing okay.
Yep.
You know, and I know he's such a wiry little cuss, but you know, he's got a good heart.
He does, 100%. But he likes to park his mopeds and mini bikes in weird places.
On the roof of a hauler
Yeah.
at some point in time. I don't know. I do remember at Milan one year that he was exiting the hauler down the ramp and missed the ramp by a little bit and fell off in the grass. That was also the same year that Rodney Crum choked on a Bausma pork steak, and we had to call 911 because I thought he was going to die. So
is that for real?
No, no, 100% for real. Hannah
Wow.
called 911. He spent 30 minutes in an ambulance because I thought he was dying.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, on a Bausma steak.
Yeah, he cracked the back of his head. He choked and kind of passed out and hit the back of his head against the little gator that Bausma's had. Thank God Scotty Mom was there. Yeah, Smoke on Approach.
Yep,
Scotty Mom.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a paramedic, and I'm like, he's out, guys. And Scotty came and helped make sure he was still alive.
Wow.
Yeah, true story. I had to go check him for a concussion.
Scott.
Had to check him for a concussion every hour on the hour the rest of the night.
Speaking of scooters, Chris, I'm gonna need you to pave like the pits because my scooter is not an off-road scooter. It does not like going off-road at all. So if you can have that done in a couple weeks, that'd be great.
Just a ribbon of blacktop, that's all.
Could we get a little circle track too? Because my little new tennis shoes don't want to go off-road neither, you big crybaby. Come on, suck it up, princess.
We've now entered the Let's Roast Cody hour of the show.
You want us to build an asphalt track for you guys?
It'd be great.
Just no, like not for like the pits, just for like the road between the pits, you know?
I'm sure we'll figure something out.
There you go.
You got time. Get yourself some balloon tires and put them on that scooter.
Yeah. Yeah, don't look like fit between the front forks and the rear forks, just saying.
You can always get in and ride with me. I got air conditioning.
I 100% will. Yep.
You know,
because last year it was hotter than Satan's balls outside with that one.
Well,
it was bad.
That was bad. That was a bad year for heat.
It's always possible. You know, we had the one year it was like 100. Everybody remembers that year, and I can't tell you what it was, but it was like 100 degrees. And so then I bought me a air-conditioned Ranger. I just opened the front windshield and set it at the end of the track and leave it running all night.
It was 100 last year, but he had the AC on, so he didn't know it.
Right.
I remember whatever year that was, and was it 18, 19? I don't know. I just remember I consumed 13 bottles of water and or Gatorade through the course of the day being at the track.
Yes.
And I didn't go to the bathroom until I got back to the hotel at 2 a.m.
No, I literally hauled water around, and I had to restock my cooler in the back like 4 times that day because everywhere you went, somebody wanted water. You know, it was bad. I don't want to go through that again. Hopefully, let's hope we have one of those weekends when it's 78 degrees, nice breeze.
Perfect.
You're not asking for much, Waegele, are you?
No, you know, we've had a couple like that, but more times than not, it's either raining or it's 100 degrees. And I don't know why, because we're in June. But unfortunately, in Missouri, I don't know about you guys, but in Missouri, June is historically our wettest month. That's hard to believe. You know, they always say April showers bring May flowers. Well, in Missouri, is the wettest month. Now, we're just coming off of the wettest month we've about ever had. You know, and guys have had a hard time getting stuff planted. But now it's turned dry, and the 10-day forecast is dry. And let's hope that holds through our pull. And then I hope we get about 3 inches of rain the day after our pull's over, because they'll be great for the crops.
Sure.
That'd be all right.
Melissa, did you get rain this morning? Yeah.
Yep, we did.
So it rained at work.
I did not have hay down, so I was all right.
Oh, everyone has hay down north of Harrisonville.
Not I.
Yeah.
We mowed 100 acres down yesterday.
Yeah,
100 acres. But it's fine. You know, we have a chance of rain, I think, Friday night. But we're going to wrap all ours up tomorrow, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, we had no rain in the forecast.
There's like an 80% chance here tomorrow. So.
Hey, Mitchell.
Yes.
Do you remember the first year I was there? Do you remember when we were parking haulers and out in the area? Do you remember what warning you gave me?
No, I don't.
Snakes.
Snakes.
Snakes. You were like, well, because it was right next to that cornfield and we were nosing them in. And you're like, well, because I think I had on flip-flops, and you were like, you know, you might want to be careful because there have been some snakes out here. Like, oh no. I'm ready to go. Yep.
No.
Steel-toed boots. I'm like, that's great.
Being next to, I still call it Squaw Creek National Wildlife Refuge.
Right.
They changed the name. Our I don't know what I want to call it. I want to be careful here and not piss anybody off, but our government decided to change the name to Lois Bluffs because they thought Squaw Creek was detrimental because you're talking about an Indian. I don't know why.
It was Squaw Creek when I went there for biology in high school.
Yeah, well, now it's actually Lois Bluffs Wildlife Refuge. And because, you know, the dirt through here, windblown soil is Lois soil, and they call it Lois Bluffs. But neither here nor there. To all of us, it's still Squaw Creek National Wildlife Refuge. And they turned loose a bunch of, technically they're called Masagua rattlesnakes, pygmy rattlers, little bitty ones, about this long.
Really?
Just as lethal as a great big one. And they're all over that refuge.
They don't come out.
And they don't stay at the refuge.
Yeah, they do. They just really don't come out.
They don't come out too much. You know, I found one at my duck lake. I have a duck lake out here in the bottom west of town and a little bit north where I duck hunt. And I found one there in the last 10 years. But they don't venture off the refuge too often. It's never a problem at the track because we mow everything, and they don't like to be where they want to be in cover. They don't want to be where everything's mowed down and nice and groomed, if you know what I mean.
Well, I can promise you, if I saw one, Jesus wouldn't be the only thing walking on water.
And I'm right behind you.
Have any of you ever seen the videos of the guys on a golf course when they take fishing line and tie a snake to a guy? You know?
Yeah.
We're going to do that to Amy.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
You guys liable to get shot if you do that to me.
Yeah, I was thinking it might be the last thing you ever do if you try that with Amy.
I was gonna say you're asking for new help at that time. You're gonna have a help wanted sign out in front.
Yeah.
I'd be more worried about the beating you're gonna take.
Yep.
Because I won't make it look like an accident.
You're still gonna have a help wanted sign out front.
That might be our last pull.
That might be your last pull.
Yep, that could
Because
be.
I might have to kill you.
Ugh. I did not know that there were snakes there were snakes that are known to be out there on the grounds. Anybody find one?
To be fair, I've never seen one, but Mitchell told me that and terrified me that that's where they were at. So I'm like, I do not have any intention to go close enough to find one.
We actually
We've
found
never
one.
seen one
No, we've never seen. We found one in the road tube coming in one year. It's a true story. We found one. Somebody was out there mowing, and they wanted their big road tube entrance, and called the refuge people, and they came up there full force, went in there and captured the little critter, and took him back home.
There you go.
That's a true story.
That's all one that's ever found there. We've never seen another one since.
Well, that's just fine with me.
Same.
But we will try to have one around where you're at this year. Just
Great.
so what they look like.
Sure. That'll be great. Thanks. Educational.
I'll catch you one and put it in a container so you know what to look
Please
for.
give it to me Friday night when the band is playing, because I
Right.
promise you,
Starts, we'll bring it in. That's a good
I will
idea.
scream loud enough that you can hear me from Mound City, the mayor's office.
You probably be able to sing the auctioneer song after you see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think should be breaking out some
We might
lyrics
have
in
some
it.
FCC violations with my language.
Mm-hmm.
Amy, you'd be bringing out some new dance moves. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, heck yeah. Speaking of which, you know, I have to say this. I love the upgrades to the announcer box because it's been nice enough. I've danced in your announcer box a couple of times with some music in the background.
Wow, that went dark real quick.
Now, wait a minute. You only got something going on.
No, the first year we were there, it didn't have air conditioning. First couple of years, it didn't have air conditioning.
That was the old one. That was the old one, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we take pride in having one of the few air-conditioned announcer stands in the nation. I don't know. I'm sure there's more, but I don't know where they're at. You know, somebody enlighten me.
That's the only one that I announce in, and the thing I really like about that one though is you can open up the windows, and so you get the feel of the pull going on, but yet it's still cool and it works out really well. It's
degrees in a metal box.
Now,
yeah.
Chris, I'll give you. Do you know why it's like that?
Because you said so.
Because I bitched enough, or what?
I lived in Northwest Missouri for like 10 years. I was there full time. This was a long time ago when I was young, and I announced all them years, and it was usually in some godforsaken place that I didn't want to be. And so when we made the decision to build a new announcer stand, I said, we're going to build this like I want it. We're going to have windows that you can open, and we're going to have an AC unit in the back. So our announcers are nice and comfortable all night. On them 100-degree days, that's pretty important. You want to keep your help cool. And that was before live stream. And, you know, as you all well know, we was the first ones to do live stream. One of the very first ones in COVID, we did live stream. And, you know, the live stream requires, you know, Ryan does our live stream. That guy needs to be cool because he's sitting there with a lot of equipment that needs to be cool. And so that all worked out great.
Yep, for sure.
And that brings to, we have made some changes this year. You know, the Pro Pulling League has went to live stream this year on their big polls. And we will be live streamed this year. Go to propulling.tv. And that's not on the flyers, but propulling.tv. And you have the option for a single day or a weekend pass, which is cheaper if you want to buy both days. And wanted to get that out there. We're excited to partner up with John and Christy. You know, they're trying something new, and it's not something new now. Everybody's doing it, but we wanted it to be on the Pro Pulling Sides list of pulls. So for those people that subscribe to Pro Pulling, they can all come and watch our show. So that's the platform we'll be using this year.
Good. And I presume Ryan's running cameras again
Right.
this year.
Ryan's running cameras for me, and just like always, you know, it's just like it's always been. Ryan's in charge of doing this one. Down the road, that could change another year. I think they're looking at a monthly subscription format. They're not doing that yet. I think they will next year. And this year, it's going to be an individual pull by pull, you know, buy 1 day or 2 day pass. And but I think down the road, you're going to be able to buy a monthly subscription and watch all the pulls that happen. You know, Western Series and Champions Tour. Of course, you know, we're a combo. We have both. But it's we're really excited about that. And one other thing, Pro Stock Semis. We haven't talked about. This is the first year for them. We're very, very excited to bring the Pro Stock Semis to Mound City.
Is Brent Roberts coming?
Oh, Brent Roberts will be here with bells on.
Well, bring an extra turbo, because that's an issue.
Hope he don't spit the turbo out in front of the truck like he did down there a couple of weeks ago. He got it fixed. I saw a test hook the other night at a Northwest pull, and made it down the track and it didn't blow up. So he's good to go.
Nice.
He's good to go. We hope for, you know, I don't know how many of them is going to be out, but we're hoping for, you know, 6 or 8 of them. They put on a great show, and I know they're a fan favorite. Fans, and as well as the mini rods. You know, we're having the mini rods too this year. You know, I told you we was having the Light Pros first time, but mini rods, this is their second appearance here. And I call them, you know, they're the limited mini rods, small blocks, and but they put on a fantastic show and have a big following. You know, 12 to 15 of those mini rods, and they put on a really, really good show. And we're seeing them too.
So what's
nice shirt, Laura, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't plan
Speaking
on
of those minis.
What's Chris, what's it take to keep a pull going like this? Because you guys have faced a challenge of rain a lot of years to keep things going. I know, like, proceeds go 100%, not to you guys, but to scholarships. So what's it take from a promoter standpoint to keep things going year after year?
Well, number one, fantastic sponsors. And I can't say enough about the sponsors that we have in this community that put money into this poll, because and all polls are the same way. I mean, you got to have good sponsors. It's an unfortunate thing in this motorsports world that pulling can't stand on its own and draw enough spectators to pay the bill. You know, you have to have great sponsors. We do. We're blessed with fantastic people that put money into this poll, and all of our local businesses, farmers. We have a lot of local farmers here that put money in the poll, and you know, they know the money's going to a good place, but they also know they're going to see a fantastic show. You know, and so they don't have any problem with that. And the key to keeping a good poll going, without a doubt, is sponsors. Because if we lost our sponsors, we'd be done.
What's it look like from you know, from some organizations or promoters that are struggling to find promoters or find sponsors? What's that look like to say, hey, we're here for the long haul and we're not here just for a few times? What's that look like from your guys' perspective?
Well,
We always have a little bit of turnover, but most part, I bet most of our sponsors have been with us for 10 plus years.
yeah.
How do you find those? How do you get them? Because that's
Well,
gonna be the number one thing. If a lot of people,
it's all through relationships. I think without a doubt, me being 65 and, Mitchell's not far behind me. We've made relationships throughout the years with a lot of people. And of course, I'm in the retail business, and a lot of people, you go to them and they respect you. You've known them your whole life, and ask them for money for something like this, and they enjoy watching it. The first year I was taken aback. I didn't think we could get this kind of money. And the first year we did it, we asked for money. These people are just, sure, what do you need? I want to be a part of this. I want to come watch. And once you got them there, and once you started showing them good quality stuff, which we have, they're like, this is fantastic. We love it. It sells itself once you get it going, but it's hard to get it going. But once you get it going, it really just keeps on rolling down the road. It has for us, and we're blessed that way. We're just lucky, and it's a lot of hard work on everybody that in the fire department. Mitchell and I, we all work hard at every year. We don't quit. If you know what I mean, you don't quit. You go look for a new one. Don't just sit back and say, hey, we've got the sponsors. No, you got to go look for new ones, because you're going to have some drop off. It just happens. Businesses change. They don't do good. You call them up and go, well, we've had a bad year. We can't afford to do it this year. Totally understand that. You gotta keep beating the bushes. You can't quit, and I think that's been a key to our success.
Chris, how far away are you drawing sponsorship from?
Kansas City, we've had sponsors out of Kansas City. I don't know.
Most part 30 miles.
Yeah, probably a 30-mile radius basically covers most.
So down to St. Joe and over to Maryville, basically?
Yeah, St. Joe, Maryville, Savannah, Fall City, Nebraska. And of course we're overrunning Fall. Fall City has a nice little pull over there.
Yep.
Great facility.
Home of John Wagner.
Great facility.
The Walrus.
From over there.
If he ever hears me say that, he'll punch me in the face, and I won't get up. But until he hears it, I'm going to keep saying it.
But we have a great group of people that put this pull. And of course, I wish I could name them all. There's too many. But
I think we should. We've been very fortunate the last 2 years that we actually have a title sponsor. Aaron Marlowe with Crop Wax Mill and Dinsdale Seed stepped up and have been our major sponsor, presenting sponsor, if you want to call it that, for last year and this year. So that's been a big help. And they're a two-prong out of Maryville and Oregon, Missouri. And so they have a lot of customers in our trade area.
That is a huge deal. I'm glad Mitchell brought that up. We never really had a title sponsor till last year, and they stepped up to the plate and put big money into this. They wanted their name on the flyer, and
they're on everything. We make sure their name's on anything we.
Right, and to take this a little further to answer your question about how we keep sponsors, we've done this now for how many years have we done the video board?
Oh, I don't know, at least 6 or 7.
6 or 7 years. We have a friend of ours brings these video boards over that we use at the pull, but we put up a video board in town. When you get off at exit 84 here in Mound City, you can turn towards town. You come up there to a stop sign. Well, there's a bank right there. We put the video board up a week ahead of the pull and streams all of our sponsors for a whole week. Everybody that gets off the interstate pulls up there, looks up and sees our sponsors streaming for the pull for a week before the pull. And, you know, then we move the boards out to the track, you know, of course, during the pull. But we try to give them the best coverage we can. And, you know, it means something to those sponsors. I've had them come up to me and go, you know, that's pretty cool. When I come up to the stop sign, I look up my names and lights. You know,
everybody loves to see their name in the lights.
That means something to them. Mm-hmm. You know, not a banner on the side of the track.
Mm-hmm.
Although we do that too. You know, every sponsor that puts, you know, there's a level, of course, but you get a low-level sponsor gets a banner on both sides of the track. You jump up to the next level, you get on the video board, and you're on the video board and a banner on both sides of the track. So now, you know, we're reaching more people for our sponsors, and hopefully that's part of our success. You know,
and we do provide 2-day passes to the sponsors.
Oh, sponsors all get
and
passes.
Different levels.
Different levels. They get different amounts of tickets. You know, they all do. And I'm sure everybody does that.
It's kind of crazy. We keep track of how many tickets to go out. We rarely get more than 50% of them back through the gate that are actually free passes.
Yeah, true story. You know, we give away a lot of tickets, and it's amazing. A lot of those free tickets are never used, and which is good for us, you know, I guess. But
the one thing I'm going to interject this that you guys did a few years back, and I got a T-shirt floating around somewhere downstairs. I don't know where it's at, but I know that you had a T-shirt a few years back that said "Rumble on the Refuge" in the front, and then you listed all your sponsors on the back.
Yes.
And I don't know how many years ago that was, but that was the coolest thing. I mean, I'd be walking around somewhere and somebody looked Rumble by the Refuge, and what's on the back? It's like, well, that's all their sponsors. How do they get that many sponsors? I mean, nobody could figure that out. And it's like, just ask.
Yep.
It's still about relationships. That's where the start of that is.
You know, the key.
Right.
Key to any good business is relationships.
It's no different than the group here talking.
Right.
We all know each other.
Exactly. Yep. You guys are like family to us, every one of you. And, you know, let's go back. You roll in here. I'll never forget
years
it.
ago was that?
Yeah. What year was that, Ruse?
2014.
2014. Ron shows up. Asked somebody who's running this show. They pointed him out to me. He comes over and says, "I'm here to take pictures." What'd I tell you?
Shit. What did you tell me? I think it was something like, "Don't get in the way, don't get hurt, and have fun." More or less.
Usually he tells them, "Don't make your problem mine."
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I generally you're welcome to go anywhere you want. Have a good time. Don't make your problems my problem.
Yep.
I'm dealing with it. And you know what? Ruse, you took your pictures. We became friends. I think we met after the pull and maybe had a bourbon. I'm not sure of that.
More than likely.
But
Really possible.
You have become one of my favorite people over the years. And you got your start right here, and I'm proud of that.
I did. That was the first PPL show I ever shot. First time maybe not first time I'd seen pro stocks in probably a decade or 15 years, or at least big pros. And yeah, it was, I was going through some of those old pictures the other day. Matter of fact, here's a couple of them.
Well,
maybe.
Oh,
there's
wow.
one.
Stuart Mays.
We've had some legendary hooks here. You know,
we have.
We really have. Don Masterson, Don won the gun, when we was giving away the guns. And, to enlighten on that particular thing, we had a dealer in town at the time that donated all those guns. And that's how that came about. Well,
wow.
He ended up moving away to another state and we lost it. And I hate that because that was a great deal, but we just don't make enough money to afford to go buy all them. And this guy was really cool to us. We had that for, I don't know, 3 years, 3 or 4 years. And, and it was a great deal while we was doing it. Who'd you say down the road, maybe get back to it, we hope we can make enough money we could. But neither here nor there, Don Masterson won the gun. I had a great picture of him accepting his award, sent it to Kevin when Don passed, and he was so appreciative of that. He didn't know that picture existed. And, Don and I go back, Don and I and Mitchell, we go back a long ways. I actually had met Don many, many years before Mitchell and I started pulling. And I've said this before, I never, ever would have thought he would have remembered me. And, I'd met Don at a pull out. And actually, he brought, when they just had the river he brought it to the Nebraska State Fair one year, which used to be a huge pull. It used to be an NTPA pull.
Mm-hmm.
And back in the day, I've talked to Dave Banner out there. Dave Banner had a 7-engine mod there one year.
Yep.
And that was a great pull. And I went every year. Me and my best friend went every year and stayed out there for that pull. Well, Don Masterson rolled in with the river rat one year, and I met him out there at the Nebraska State Fair. First time I ever seen the guy. And we talked, and, I'm just a fan. That's all I was. I was just there. I was just a fan. And fast forward 20 years, Mitchell and I put this tractor together, and we show up in Henry, Illinois. Well, of course, Mastersons are there. And I told Mitchell, I said, come on, I'm going to take you over here and I'll introduce you to Don Masterson, thinking he's not going to remember me. Walk up there. You vouch for this. I said, Don, good to see you. Stuck my hand out. And he stuck his hand out and says, well, how are you, Chris? And I looked at him. He remembered my name, remembered everything. And he was truly a prince of a man. I don't know anybody else in the pulling world that I thought more of than Don and Kevin Masterson.
Yep.
Those guys
Great.
They're amazing. Amazing people. Kevin and I are great friends this day. We talk pretty regular. He may call me, I may call him. Not about tractor pulling in general, just he's called me and asked me if it's raining out here and how the crops are. And you know what? Great friends, good people, really good people.
Mm-hmm. 100% agree.
Yeah. He was a gentleman for sure.
Yes. Yeah, I miss Don. When they pulled in the driveway at Rumble by the Refuge, I went straight to their holler. And I took 30 minutes off and sat over and visited with Don about farming, how their crops were. We talked about our crops. He made the comment the first year that we had pro stocks. Of course, I asked for pro stocks in Mound City, Missouri, and the answer I got.
Uh-huh.
A little bit too far west. And, unfortunately, most of the big pro stocks reside in Mississippi. We had 2 at that time that were running Grand National, Champions Tour with Domans and Stuart May.
Yep.
So I kind of used that as leverage on John and Christy. I said, now listen, you got 2 pros out here. It's running your circuit. They have to drive every weekend. They've got to go drive 400 or 500 miles minimum. And how about let's have a pull back here where they don't have to do that? Lo and behold, they gave in and gave them to me. Well, that very first year, I'd heard some guff, you know, I'd heard a little talk that, there's some grumbling about some of the big pro guys didn't like the fact they was going to have to drive all the way to Western Missouri. And so I was a little gun shy when they pulled in the driveway. And when Don and Kevin pulled in, I drove straight to their hauler and I said, guys, you know, I apologize for the long drive. And, you know, Don looked at me and he said, Chris, I'll tell you something. He goes, I like going to new places. And he said, when I came over that hill down there at that truck stop, and for those of you that come every year, you know that big hill when you come over at the truck stop and you see that big bottom out there to the west, Missouri River bottom, and you see all those irrigation pivots. Don said, we come over that hill and I saw all those irrigation pivots. He said, I thought I was back home.
Yeah.
And he was tickled to death to come out here and never complained once. And I'll never forget that.
Chris, I want to say something as a person who I wasn't in this sport my whole life, but I kind of got thrown into it after I got married and my husband told me that I could go to the truck and tractor pull meetings because he was too busy. I want to say I copied your meal, your puller meal. That's something that I thought was important to do for the pullers that came to my little county fair. And it was something that I kind of stole from you and was able to, my kids had fair pigs and we always took whichever one didn't make weight or wasn't the good one, and went and butchered that. And we had a whole hog roast for our pullers at our fair. And that was something that I think also sets your venue apart from others, because you really do take hospitality to a new level and really, the people are coming from a long way. And you make sure they're fed well and you make sure they're well taken care of. And that was something that I always thought was a great idea. And I copied that when I was doing the truck and tractor pull for my county fair.
We take pride in that. We, you know, I was part of, you know, I traveled with Domans for several years. Kind of after I quit announcing for Northwest, I got hooked up with Domans, and so I traveled with them pulling quite a bit as I was a team member. And you know, we went to Bowling Green. We went to a lot of different places, and but I always liked the venues that served a meal, and there's several of them that do. And you know, they'd come around and give us passes and served everybody food. And I always thought, man, that's so cool. You know, we don't have to worry about where we're going to go get something to eat. Now, you know, we don't do that on Friday night because everybody just gets there on Friday night and everybody's in a hurry to get to the track. But we do it on Saturday night because, you know, everybody's there and we know we're already established. And yeah, it's just something that I always appreciated, traveling with Domans. And that's where I got the idea of doing it. It's nothing new. There was people already doing that, but you know, the pullers do truly appreciate it. They thank me every year for that, you Absolutely. Know, and it's just something that makes them feel more at home. You know, there's two things. The number one thing you got to have a good pull is keep your pullers. Pullers have to be happy and they have to want to come to your venue. So you need good tracks and you need to take care of them. If they need something, come to me. I don't care what they need. They need a welder. They need a bolt. They need anything. Mitchell or I will make sure they get it. You know, we'll bust our butt to try to make sure the pullers are taken care of, because without the pullers, we don't have a show, and without them, we don't have a crowd. You know, and our crowd wants to see the best pullers, and that's why we do what we do.
One thing that I've always liked that you guys did, and I think you're still doing it, although I guess I wouldn't swear to it, is breakfast. Breakfast on Saturday, and I'm hoping that's still a thing, but
well, it's not, and here's why. The guy
damn.
The guy
well, hold on. Ryan, you got to get up earlier to eat breakfast in the morning.
Yeah. Some of us cook breakfast. Some of us cook breakfast nice and early. scrambled eggs, biscuits and gravy, French toast, but you got to be up.
Yeah.
I don't sleep in that late.
The guy that owns,
Yeah.
this is a cool story. The guy that owns our local Case IH dealership down by Savannah is big. He's huge. He really got into this several years ago of taking care of homeless people. And he set up a kitchen in St. Joe for the homeless people. He'd go down there and cook for the homeless people. Every weekend.
Really?
That big tent that we use is his tent that we put up, over the picnic tables. Why is that?
Because can't anybody bring it up anymore.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. Never mind. But anyway, neither here nor there. He offered to come up and do breakfast just for a donation, and unfortunately, his health has took a turn for the worse in the last couple of years, and he's not able to do it, or he would still be doing it. And we're very appreciative of him coming and doing that. Having said all that, we do have a great place for breakfast. It's called Toad Holler. It's up on the hill here at Mound City at the golf course, and it's called Toad Holler. It's a nice restaurant, and they serve a killer breakfast. So for anybody that needs breakfast,
good to know.
They go up to Toad Holler, and you're going to get a fantastic breakfast.
Melissa and I can vouch for it. That's where we ate last year. It was phenomenal.
I've ate there. It's good.
It's not McDonald's.
Oh God, no.
No, it's not McDonald's. You get a great breakfast, and of course, everybody knows Quackers, the steakhouse. You're not going to get a better ribeye west of the Mississippi than Quackers. It is to die for. And they have catfish. They have everything they have is good. It's all good. And so we're really blessed with a couple of really good eating places. Now, if you're into Mexican, we have one of those too. So
I've eaten at the Mexican joint, and they're okay. They're on point.
We have it all covered.
And ice
Hell,
cream.
you've even got a distillery there.
Ice cream.
You've got ice cream. We have afternoon ice cream. It's really good.
Where do you go for ice cream?
In town.
Checkers.
Is it that Crazy Daisy or what's
Checkers.
it called?
Checkers.
Shakers.
Checkers. It's all the same.
1 block north of Quackers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't know where Quackers is. Go 1 block north on the
Keep
left.
going. And it's on the left.
Yeah,
it's right by Audrey's, right?
Audrey's Motel. It's right.
Yeah.
You can walk from Audrey's Motel to Shakers and get you an ice cream cone.
And then we can
Been there,
go to
done
our
that.
farms and have a tasting at the distillery.
Bingo. Cody and I did that last year. That was fun.
Amazing.
I told him, I was like, hey, we got some time to kill. Like, we're going to the distillery. He's like, okay. And we did, and it was good. And the bourbon, we tasted it, but it wasn't quite ready for bottle. So I'm hoping this year it's ready in the bottle. The rye was fantastic. No?
I do
We
think
were there. Kara and I stopped there on Saturday.
you
And,
did.
So yeah, we stopped there. I went and did a quick reel, 2 reels, looking at the facility. I'm sure Chris's, trail cams are going off. Who's that asshole over there in the on my property or on the rodeo grounds? I was fully expecting him to roll up in his gator and start yelling at, wait! Oh, hi, Ryan.
You got lucky. I was at my granddaughter's softball game in St. Joe, or I would have probably been up here. And if I'd have caught you in there, it wouldn't have been good.
Oh, shut up.
Well, maybe we need to go up on Thursday and all go do a tasting at our farms. Maybe we need to make an early date and get there early Thursday evening.
Shout
Amy
out,
Joe. I will tell you that their drink list right now, and Kara would back me up on that 1,000%. She had a good time there. It was our anniversary weekend, and we went home the long way and stopped at our farms, and it was good. It was good. We had a good time.
Did you sample?
Mm-hmm.
Did they have the bourbon done?
No.
The bourbon's not done?
Nope. They right now, I think most of their drinks, they've got a drink list that's pretty heavy on their vodka because they also do vodka,
Yeah.
and the vodka is very good.
I have birthday cake. My husband bought 2 bottles. He went up for a tour and stuff through A-Lot, and he came home with a couple of different bottles. And then we had at the Farm Bureau annual meeting last year, one of the guys from up there, that was the gift basket that they did us for the silent auction. And I have, I think 2 or maybe 3 different flavors of some of their vodkas that they have. All very.
I like the original vodka. The flavored ones just did, like, I really wanted the cherry limeade to be good, but it just wasn't. It was what I wanted.
Cody, you gotta have it in a drink. We ended up bringing home a bottle of that of the cherry limeade, and if you do it in the right drink, and I can't remember which drink it was, but it was really good. So
that's bad, Ron.
Say what?
The vodka that they have is distilled. You know, the little town of Craig, it's right west of
Right.
Yep.
We have an ethanol plant there that makes
it's all
that make is alcohol.
Yep.
And that alcohol is turned into their vodka.
They flavor it there. And then that bottle is also at 360 and McCormick's.
Yeah.
It's distilled 7 times, where like Tito's is only done twice.
Yeah.
So
it's legit really good vodka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is, I forget how much alcohol goes out here on railroad cars and goes to California. A bunch. This ethanol plant figured out
They do very little ethanol.
They don't do hardly any ethanol. It's all food grade alcohol. And very successful, local, very successful.
Fun.
Yep. And I believe we may even have a puller or 2 on the board of directors for that distillery. Waegele, you should talk yourself into a Rumble by the Refuge flavored vodka. I don't know what flavor it would be, but I figure you can figure that out.
You know what?
Rattlesnake.
Perfect. That's perfect, Mitchell. Rattlesnake flavored vodka.
It'll hit you in the morning.
And in the ankles first.
By the Refuge rattlesnake vodka. You know
there we go.
Yes.
We're gonna make millions.
There we go. I like it. Now we can pay. Now we can pay to bring the guns back to win for class winners.
Too fun.
Chris Kirkoway, what's your favorite class to announce there?
All of them.
That was not the answer. I was
looking like a true, Democrat.
That was a diplomat.
Oh, God, that hurts.
Did you really say that, Cody?
It's only because I can say that with Chris.
All right, we're going to mute Cody for a little bit. Chris, you have 15 seconds. You can say anything you want about Cody.
I can't say.
Christmas card list.
He never was on it. He might get uninvited from the graduation list next year, but
damn.
No, honestly and truly, it's probably the 10 pros. I mean, between the 10 pros and the super stocks, it's a class that we don't get to see out here very often. But there's something about the 10,000 pound pro stock class that, everybody's, talking about the womp womp and all that stuff. And it's like, the big thing is just watching them pro stocks. And when you actually see them in the pits with the hoods open, it is amazing to see how big that inlet is actually on the turbo.
Lord have mercy. Is it ever?
It is like, holy crap. Yeah. And Waegele was talking. I call him Waegele because my name's Chris, and it sounds weird for me to say Chris, but when Waegele was talking before about Don and Kevin Masterson and that stuff, and when I got to hand him that, it was a Golden Boy 22 rifle, I think, that year that he won. But I got to meet Don Masterson for the first time. And I mean, it was like, this is a hero of mine. I mean, it's never, I've seen him on TV. It's like, whatever. Handed him the rifle, had him talk a little bit, stuff like that. And I think it was about 35 minutes later, something like that, we finally kind of separated from each other between Kevin, Don, and myself. We were standing right next to the announcer stand, and we were talking about everything underneath the sun, but it's like, I could not believe, how good of a guy he was. But it's one of them things though. But I would have to say, honestly and truly, probably the 10,000 pound pro stock is probably the best class that I enjoy announcing. I mean, I like them all. Light super stock, all that stuff. I mean, it is something else. Just
how ironic is it when you think about it, that the 10,000 pound pro stock class was brought about as a starter class. It was a starter.
It's hilarious, is it not?
Yes. We had the big pros, or diesel supers. We had diesel supers, and they were add more turbos. And somebody one day stood up and said, well, we need a starter class, and it don't cost so much money. Okay, let's call it 10,000 pound pro stock. You only run one turbo. Well, that'll work. That'll be cheap.
Yep.
Famous last words.
Yep. And what cube size can we run? I don't know. How big can you make a 619?
Yeah.
I think we could probably punch it out to about 680.
There you go.
Thanks, Lance Little.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go with that rule.
Oh,
I don't know if Lance had anything to do with it or not. He probably didn't. But
Chris Little did. Chris built. He got some of them 800 cubic inch ones out there that run whatever it is, narrow tire deal out of east. My God, they can get more cubes out of them things. It's unreal what they can get.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I wish that class weren't dying, but it kind of seems like, seems like it is.
Which class is that?
Oh, Schultz used to call it the womp womp class, but it's the big cube, like stupid big cube pro farms, like 800 cubic inches and 9 turbos and 4 stages and a custom unicorn fart injection system, and they make 6,000 horsepower, and they got to reel it into 3,000 RPM and 15 mile an hour. It's ridiculous.
It really is. That you guys all know that yellow John Deere from up in Wisconsin.
Industrial
Deere. Yeah, the industrial. Yeah, Nick something or other.
Deere. That's one of them. That's along those lines.
Yep. They basically take a 619 and hog it out to as big as they possibly can, and then they got to run it, whatever RPM, 33,000 or 3,500 RPM.
Yeah, but getting back to the big cubic inch pro stocks, that's changing a little bit. Now that they can use, billet blocks, and the IHs are coming back into play. And, they're doing a really good job. Of course, we've got some new ones this year. The boys from down in Carolinas, 2 new tractors, Shelton's. And I think they will be here. I'm hoping they'll be here. I think they're running PPL, and I know Parishes will be here.
Yep,
that's a badass tractor.
Yep,
we all know that. And of course, new this year we have the Meddings are coming up out of Texas. They're going to be here with us this year. Meddings 2 tractors and the Grandview Gangsters together. We've got a pull, boys.
We do.
It's going to be good. It's going to be really good.
I agree.
Hey, Waegele, what's the most? What has been the highest count of pro stocks you've ever had down there?
Well, I think I'm trying to remember the year. And this has nothing against Toma. Toma is a great pull. I love Toma. I've been to Toma many times as a fan, and we're just in a different demographic, and we're not trying to beat Toma down. That's not our point at all. We're running PPL, and PPL, they do their own thing, and that's why we do what we do. But I think there was a year that we had 20 or 22 Mitchell said pro stocks. We had more pro stocks than they had, and I could not believe that. But that's not the point. There's enough pro stocks to go. Toma will have a fantastic showing, so will we.
And I wasn't trying to step on anything with Toma or anything like that. I couldn't remember what year it was. I remember there was pro stock upon pro stock down there, and it's like, holy mackerel.
Well, there was 1 or 2 years where Toma and Mound City they didn't line up, and we're about due for another one of those like date sequences on the calendar. I think.
No, that'll never.
Not anymore.
Not
anymore. Well, damn it, that's a bummer.
I know. Like, I actually hate it. That weekend, that was not our choice. It was the only weekend we could get with people. If I'd rather not be on top of Toma, I rather would not. But it was the only weekend we could get, and sometimes you're just forced by what you got to deal with.
Right.
And like I said, Toma is one of my favorite pulls. It's a great pull. I don't want to run them down whatsoever. It's a fantastic show. And, we got rained out, 2 years ago on Friday night. What did we do? We drugged
We put up the show.
We took the big screens off the track, put it back by the beer garden, and we live streamed Toma for everybody to watch. Everybody sat there. Well, RJ Simon was here.
Yep.
And Brandon was headed here with the pro stocks. We got rained out. He turned around and went to Toma, and RJ was sitting there watching his brother pulling Toma, sitting at our beer garden watching his brother pulling Toma, and then the next day he hauled ass and got back down here and pulled.
Yep, I remember that because he was biting his nails.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was one of the. Even though we didn't pull that night, and I know it was an expensive night for you. God, that was a lot of fun. Just sitting there, just BSing with everybody, and watching the show, rooting for Brandon, and then he kicked everybody's ass there, and gave a winner speech, and then basically rolled out, went in through the outdoor to kind of did a Led Zeppelin to get out of the place in Toma, as he told the story, and hauled ass down to Mound City for the rest of the weekend.
And by the way, shout out to the Simons. They're having a great pull this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Give them a plug. I'll
100%.
be watching on TV. And, I'm all about those guys. Those guys are relentless, absolutely relentless. Roger, I knew Roger way back when, before them boys were born, probably. And I went to Macon every year, and Roger Simon was there every year. And I'd go talk to him in the pits. Once again, I'm just a fan, but Roger was always so cordial and nice and answered questions. And I thought the world of him. And, of course, him and his whole crew came down here to our pool the year he passed.
Yep.
That's the last place I got to see Roger. And,
same here.
You know what? I thought the world of that guy. We got a rain again that year, and he had his tour bus out in the pits, along with all the haulers and all the trucks, And Roger came to me and goes, "Is there somewhere we can get that thing on high ground?" I said, "Yeah, Roger, I'm going to go find you a place." And went back over across from the truck stop there by the track and got him on some concrete. He was so appreciative of that, thanked me 100 times, and moved them all out there. And then we just towed their vehicles back over for the pull the next night. And Roger Simon was a prince of a man, and his boys are carrying on his tradition in a big way. And they're great for our sport. Those guys are fantastic for our sport, and more power to them.
Yep, I would agree. And I remember that year because, they brought damn near everything. They had, I mean, I don't know how many haulers they brought down with them. It had to have been 3.
I don't know how many.
It was before they had the Pro Stock tractor, but they brought everything else.
Well, they had
right, and that was like 7 2-wheelers then, or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think that was the year I had to pull everybody off that quad track.
Yes, it was. 2020 was the year that Hiawatha's 8RX 410. That pre-production, and if I remember right, I was told it was a pre-production model.
It was. It had some problems. I can tell you.
There was, you know what? Nobody had seen one of those things until our pull.
I took a bunch of photos of it.
What the hell is that? You know,
right?
That was kind of cool.
I don't want to do that again.
No, we do not.
That was a long night.
Mitchell, you buy one of those things yet?
No.
An 8RX? No?
No, they do ride good, though.
Well, and they apparently do very, very well after screw it. I'm going to throw the 3.0 guys under the bus because weren't they the ones who decided they were going to start ripping around in gators when it was so wet that weekend?
Down there that I finally had enough.
Oh, I'm not going to. I don't think it was the 3.0 guy. I think it might have been some of their entourage. You know, it's kind of like pro football players. You know, they always bring their entourage along. And those are the guys that cause the trouble. Not particularly the puller, but a friend of a puller that don't give 2 shits because he don't have any skin in the game, if you know what I mean.
Damn it, entourage, do better. You can do better.
That I pulled out that night that I owe a log chain to. Still.
Yeah, I remember you had to pull just about everybody out, didn't you? Everybody who was on like the southeast side.
Yeah.
I pulled everybody out.
Now,
I pulled a lot of them on the west. I had to pull back to the road.
Having said that, since that debacle, that whole east side has been grid tiled. And there is now tile all the way down through there, and we have a pump in the southwest corner that pumps all the water out from under the whole ground. So,
oh Lordy, please don't challenge the entourage.
Well,
they will find a way.
It's just perfect for my scooter. Shut your mouth.
You scooter boy.
Scooter gang.
Let's get
shut up. I'm annoyed that I can't find a scooter for under $2,000 for a fat guy.
They call that Rangers.
Is the unhooker still with us?
I am.
She is. Laura, you know what I drive.
Yes, I do.
It won't. A gator is damn near as heavy as my car.
Hey, where there's a will, there's a way.
There's not a will there. There's not a will. So there doesn't need to be a way.
Yeah, I'm going to try to stay up until the other half gets home from Pleasant Hill, Illinois tonight.
Have you heard anything? How is Pleasant Hill going? That's for the record, folks. We were going to get Tucker on and let Tucker tell some stories because we all know he's a pretty damn good storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, I can't. I'm going to be running a camera in Pleasant Hill.
Honestly, I gotta interject here. Tucker called me last night. I think we talked till 2:30 in the morning. And
oh, good. So you got to volunteer for that role. Last time it was me, and we talked until almost 3.
Well, there you go. So anyway, Tucker tried to get on tonight, but somewhere it dried up, and he had to go plant a test plot. And I texted him right before we went live, and I said, "Tucker, get your ass on here." He said something about the pull, but then bottom line is they had a truck breakdown. He was on his way home, truck broke down, and that's where he's at.
Oh. Well, that's a bummer.
Brandon hadn't said anything about that. He did say Tucker was there. So, but.
By the way, Cody, thank you for leaving the bottle. Appreciate it. Just killed it.
Yep. You're welcome.
It was a good bottle. Cody came and hung out on, what was that? Memorial Day weekend?
I don't know. Whatever day. My days run together. I've slept since then.
Yep. Theoretically. And left a very good bottle of bourbon. And so tonight's show has been powered by Yellowstone, which is good. Anyway. So, Chris, you never told me. What are you drinking tonight?
Oh, here I am. Me? Him or me?
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
I'm actually just drinking straight Dr. Pepper.
How boring.
I can't find my stuff to go with my Crown Peach, so.
What do you usually mix with Crown Peach?
You say anything other than iced tea, that's the wrong answer.
Nah, not necessarily.
I've done iced tea. I've done lemonade too.
Lemonade. That's the jam right there.
And that is really, really good. I like that. So that's just me. But. Hey, Waegele, you got limited pro pickups there again?
Say again.
You got the 3.0 diesel pickups there again?
Yeah, 3.0 trucks will be here. Let me give you a class rundown. We haven't done that.
No,
of course. 10,000 pro stock tractors, pro modified 4-wheel drive trucks.
We should talk about those guys for a second.
Let's talk about that. We'll have 2 of the best in the United States. I think we'll all agree on this, and that's Terry Hagedorn and that guy from back east, Jim Bosch.
Jimmy Bosch.
You don't
My
get no
boy.
better than those you watch the Pullers Championship, everybody saw that showdown them 2 had out there, and it's going to be all year. Those 2, they're going to be going
100%.
after each other. Yeah, that's going to be a good show. The pro mod trucks is a great. It is, and we've had them here off and on. We rotate classes here in Mound City. I get a lot of ass eatings, if you would, from some of the pullers when we rotate a class out, and they all call me and go, "Well, why'd you do away with our class?" Well, I try to keep it. I want something new, or we want something new for the spectator. If you have the same thing every year, your show gets kind of dull. And so we rotate out, rotate back. Well, the pro mods are back. That's great. 85s weren't here for a couple years. We brought them back. And we just try to keep it fresh for the spectators.
Yep.
Keep going down your list.
Okay. Light Pros, first year for the Light Pro stock tractors in Mound City. And, of course, the 95 Limited Pros, 4.1s. They've been a mainstay because, this is a hotbed for 4.1. And
yes, it is.
3.0 diesel trucks, 85 Limited Pros, I said. The light mini rods. This is the second year for the light minis here in Mound City. And then, of course, the new class this year, Pro Stock Semis. 4.1s. Pro Stock Semis. And
we exhibitioned them last year.
Yeah, we exhibitioned them last year. this year it's an official class with the Western Series, and looking forward to seeing the semis. They, like everybody knows, they're crowd favorite. Everybody stayed. Amazing last year. Mitchell and I sat there and watched the crowd, and those guys were exhibition running at the very end, and the people stayed to watch those semis.
Yep.
And that was really cool. Really cool.
Yep. They put on a great show pretty much wherever they go. And not only that, out here in our neck of the woods, we are gifted or blessed with some of the best in the country. Joe Bear and the Zimmerman boys, they've come out to a handful of outlaw and Northwest hooks and absolutely cleaned house. And
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you paid attention to any of the videos from Adam Wilson and Built Diesel Mafia from Onaway. Was it last weekend or 2 weekends ago? Whatever it was. Laverne Zimmerman put it on everybody in Class A bobtail as well as Class A loaded semis. And so, that truck competed all year long with the Outlaw 4-1 semi class. And I don't know if we're going to see him at Mound City this year, because there is an uphill race in where's Coonley? It's in Ohio, I think. But those guys flat get it. They get after it. And those trucks are, they truly can do it all, from, doing the bobtail drag racing stuff, as well as the fully loaded pulling 120,000 pound semi or Rocky Mountain doubles.
Is that them guys from down by St. Louis?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm hoping here.
I'm not sure if you're going to, I hate to say this, I'm not sure if you're going to get him, because Coonley is, they've come on real strong in Ohio with an uphill drag race. They've got a course and yada, yada, yada. But
is that truck?
Is which one?
It's called X15, that white Peterbilt.
Yeah, that white, that truck that if it weren't for the blue frame, you would swear to God it's a Walmart truck.
Yeah.
Until you see it pull the front wheels, 2 feet in the air.
They've got a diesel shop down there in Missouri. He's a pretty sharp kid.
Oh yeah, Zimmerman's Zimmerman's don't screw around. And the things that they've done with an X15, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a red top Cummins motor. They're usually the only one in the class. Everybody else is a cat, like a C15 or bigger. And here comes Ian and Laverne Zimmerman with what looks like a fairly benign X15 truck. And then, dear God, help you if you line up next to them, because they're going to embarrass you and load you on the truck.
They put on a great show. They do. Those guys, it's a great class. Great class.
It is.
And I see that class growing. Well, we've got one being built right here in Mound City.
Mm-hmm.
Great friend of ours, Mitchell and I, is building one. He's got about everything to start putting together. I was so hoping he'd get it this year, but he's not. He'll have it ready next year. And,
good. Is it going to be painted that same pearl green?
No, I don't.
I don't know what color
I don't know what color he's going to paint it. I tried to get him to. We was in Quackers one night, and I said, "Hey, how much is it going to take? Let's just put that motor in that green truck and let's pull it." But he didn't. He didn't do it. Of course, that was a little bit of alcohol talking. So
no.
Me down, because I had a $30,000 check in my pocket. I just pulled it out. I said, "Here, just take this and let's get this truck going." And long story short, it'll be a good truck. It'll be a nice truck, and looking forward to next year. Hopefully, it's on the track.
Good. Now you got to convince those guys with that old Freightliner day cab to do the same thing.
Well, that's his best friend.
They're all together.
That's his best friend. And
well, that's got to have like a 3406B in it. I mean, they're not hard to turn up.
No, it is. It's got a cat in it. Long
there we go.
Truck. That truck belonged to a dear friend of mine many years ago. He bought that truck, and he's still alive. He's about 92 years old, and that truck's been around the block, but it's still going, and it's a great truck. Nice. Can you all see this tractor? You all recognize that tractor?
Oh, I think I do. Is that who I think it is?
Yeah.
At Jesse's?
That just popped up on Snapchat and says getting closer. So I'm hoping he's here in Mound City, but I'm going to give a shout out to Jesse Geiza, and his poll is coming up. What is it? Somebody help me with that.
It's the week after yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys talk about a fantastic poll. Now, I went up there last year. Of course, they battle rain like we do.
Yep.
But a fantastic facility, fantastic poll. And, I want to put a plug in for Jesse because he's a good friend of ours, dear friend of ours. And Jesse calls and talks. And the weekend after our hook, I want all the fans to know you can cruise right up there in the edge of Iowa and see one heck of a show.
Yep.
Great show.
And you can see the PPL Champs Tour hot rod semis, and
the hot rod
those guys put on a whale of a show.
The big boys will be there with the semis for that one. I'm going to try to make it up there. I went last year. Unfortunately, I stayed at the casino, and that place,
that was an expensive weekend.
That was a very expensive weekend because it rained the pull out the first night. So what I did, and I didn't hit anything.
Oops!
But
hands down, the best first event food vendors you've ever seen. Period.
Oh my God!
Because I don't care who you are. They had the best vendors for food. If you wanted Chinese food, it was there. If you wanted ice cream, it was there. Like, hands down, Jesse had everything at that event.
Now, wait a minute.
I've talked to him, and it sounds like he's got everything coming back. Like, I mean, Cody's not kidding. If you wanted General Tso's chicken or orange chicken and a freaking egg roll while you were watching a tractor pull, 1,000% there was a vendor there for you. If you wanted wood-fired pizza, if you wanted pretzels, if you wanted whatever. Like, I mean, I don't know how he did it. He says he just made some phone calls and put out some feelers. Whatever. Jesse he had food trucks from Des Moines and all the surrounding. They all came down, and I really, really hope and pray that they did a really good business while they were there on that first night when we actually got the show in. Because I'm not going to lie, the fat guy in me really wants them back for this year.
Yeah.
So, and Jesse, and I mean, Jesse just, he promoted the snot out of it, and he's doing it again this year. If you guys are in, anywhere within a 2 to 3 hour drive, 1,000%, I will put my name on this. Cody will too. It is 1,000% worth the drive. It is a heck of a show. Steven Kuzak, if you happen to be watching, I expect to see you there. I'm looking forward to seeing you there.
Jesse puts his heart and soul in it, and that's why I brought it up. I wanted to give him a plug tonight because it's a great.
That.
He had a trailer full of little kids. I don't know what you call it, like dozers and little excavators, like the little kid stuff, full for little kids in the rodeo arena for kids to play with. And granted, last year, like again, we had the rain, so but he had all that stuff ready for the kids to play around with. So I mean, it's everything from kids to adults, fan favorites, fun, everything.
Yep.
So,
I think that that poll has the potential to turn into a really good show. You know, here's the deal, and I'll make no bones about this. I was thinking about this on the way over tonight. You think about all the polls you go to, but our poll, you can get on an interstate anywhere in the United States and come to our poll. And when you get off the interstate, you literally got half a mile. You're at the poll. And Jesse's got the same thing.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot to be said for that. For us at poll and travel a lot, you know, there's polls that you're traveling hundreds of miles of back 2-lane roads to get to them.
Mm-hmm.
They're just tough to get to, but those polls that you can get on an interstate and get off the interstate and you're at the pole, there's something to be said for that.
Yep, there is.
Beloit, Kansas is in the middle of nowhere, just so y'all know.
Yeah.
How was that show, by the way?
It was a good show next to a feed yard, you know. But
Well, that happens.
it's literally the middle of nowhere, America. So,
Well, that's okay. I mean, that's where we all came from, right?
yeah.
Did you all see Matt Dillon out there?
I did not see Matt. John Wayne didn't come up to me either, and that was very disappointing.
Miss Kid.
Damn, you'll have a better chance of John Wayne coming to see you if you were to come to Osceola and unhook for Jesse.
There's one problem.
You're where?
It's
Where
not
are
a
you guys?
Bungart sled.
Oh,
The
that's
Tower
right.
sled.
It's not. That's right. It's big, and the guys from Peyton.
Yep.
Yeah, you know
That is
happens
my
too.
official disclosure as far as throwing chains.
That's
Matt
fair.
Morrison, he's from Iowa.
Yep.
John
That's
Wayne.
fair.
So that's why I'm not at Farley this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Where are you this weekend?
I'm not, well, I'm learning how to drive a sled.
Really?
Maybe. Yeah,
For real?
for real.
Cody, write this down. Let's get
So-
her and Allison on a show together. We'll have the only two female sled drivers on the planet together.
yeah.
I've drove it in the shop, so
Are you seriously starting to drive a sled?
I drove Chuck's around in the shop a little bit, but yeah, we'll see. I like unhooking.
How
There's-
ironic.
Ah, that's my girl.
You're going from an unhooker sled driver.
Well,
I can see what's going to happen at the Midwest Winter Nationals this year. You're going to be driving the sled, and Brandon's going to be unhooking.
No, I don't think that's a very good idea. Brandon's arm won't hold out. I love you, Brandon. Please know that.
it's a good thing he's in a sled right now.
Yeah, huh?
But he caught so much grief last weekend out there at Beloit because he was taking care of Dally. And they were like, yep, it's official. He's walking the dog.
Hopefully, he's recording this and they can see it played back.
Did Dally get to ride in the sled while he did the things?
No, we have not. No, Dally is spoilt, first of all. He bought her a Milwaukee fan because she was getting hot. No, there's too much that goes on in that sled for her to be in there. So
Can we put her? I mean, can we put her in like a? I don't know, like a thunder shirt with like a seatbelt clip in it, and put her in the buddy seat.
So
that would be the
Brandon's-
greatest picture ever. I'm not gonna lie.
Brandon's sled doesn't actually have a buddy seat in it.
Brandon, your sled needs some upgrades.
So, And his new GPS thing that he's working on, that's where the new tablet's going to go.
Say what now?
So he's been working on like a GPS system to do distances, and it's on a tablet.
For real?
For real.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
It's trial and error. We're still working on it, but
yeah. Have we? How many places have you run it, or how many
we
times
haven't
have
yet.
you run it? You haven't?
Not yet.
Okay. Are you planning on that sometime this season?
We'll see.
Okay.
So, but we'll see.
That's awesome.
So, for when laser's hard.
The GPS thing is, that's a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that,
That
I don't know how.
up so much faster.
Yeah, Cody, check in here. You've seen this.
Been around it for several years between the Outlaws and Bauer sleds and stuff, and it speeds stuff up so much faster. You don't have to worry about batteries and laser working. Can't see the laser. All
sunset.
Yep, everything. It's so much faster. So, everyone that's used it, it's quite a bit different, and it speeds up the show from a spectator standpoint for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I know that there was talk about it last year, but I'm glad to hear you guys are in like a testing phase, and at some point this, theoretically this goes live, and it makes it more possible to turn faster hooks, that much better.
He actually just texted he's got 5 more hooks to go in Pleasant Hill.
Good deal. Can we get him to join afterwards?
He will probably be deadheading home.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I wouldn't ask him to do that.
So
for those of you who don't know, Laura is dating Brandon Bungart. Brandon is kind of reserved. He's pretty quiet. Getting him to actually jump on and do the show would be like kind of a minor miracle. Just saying.
Yeah.
I'm not, I wouldn't say that it would never happen, but I'm not that good at sweet talking people, and Cody isn't either.
Yeah.
So we'd be relying on Adam and Charles, and I don't know if they could do it either.
I could see it happening if he was like here and I was on and just happened to.
If he jumped on the the right side of the recliner and just kind of leaned in, that's fine.
Yeah, 2 polar opposites. He's quiet, and I'm obviously not.
And you're not. That's okay though.
Yeah.
So where's your next hook?
Paris Fayette.
Good deal.
Yep. That Children's Miracle Pool.
Are we looking forward to that?
We are. I like that Paris pool. That's for a great cause. So.
It is. It truly is. I'm hoping to get down there. Richardson, if you're watching, you need to give me a phone call.
Yep. Those guys put in a lot of time for a great, for that Children's Miracle Network, and that's going to be a good show. So, and then go up to Fayette next weekend. So he is in Wisconsin next weekend. So
who is?
Brandon.
Where's he hooking in Wisconsin?
Hang on.
Recalculating.
That would be under the calendar. He is in Macville.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep.
Dylan, to answer your question, I know that I'll be there. I'm about 99.3% sure that Cody will be. And I haven't confirmed it, but I'm going to try and beat Adam and Tiffany into submission and get them to haul their asses out here. because the Western Series and Champs Tour deserves a little bit of Diesel Mafia coverage. We'll see. I told him that I would save them the guest bedroom. So Cody, if you're staying with me this weekend or that weekend of Osceola, you're in the other room, the storage room.
But where the kittens stay, Cody.
No, the kittens are in the master bedroom always. Either under the bed or on top of the bed, depending on the day. But yeah.
Laura, I got a question for you.
What's that?
Are you going to Macville?
No, I'm not going to Macville.
Oh, that's too bad.
So.
You ever been to Macville?
I have not.
You know what? You need to go to Macville sometime.
Okay.
You been up there, Ruse?
Nope, I've never been there. But if I'm not mistaken, is that the place with the Catholic Church on the right and the strip club on the left?
You got it.
Okay, just checking.
Sounds like a party to me.
Yeah,
there's a Catholic church
on the right, and you have the
bar on the corner.
Yeah,
it's always full, and across the road is a strip joint, and all three venues are clear full.
Huh.
Been there twice, won it once. Hey, Mitchell's first time ever driving, first hook ever on a Jolly Green Giant was at Macville, Wisconsin.
Is that right?
Mitchell, I want you to tell them the story. This is
great. Sit up in your chair so we get more than your forehead in the picture.
Started the track and then went to the strip club and then ended up at the church.
Well, no.
Had to go to church on Sunday to save them.
We're not going to do that, but I drove the tractor the first year, all the hooks. And we got to Macville, and Mitchell tells me, I kept asking him every night, you want to drive? Nope, I don't want to drive.
I just like watching it go.
He goes, you're doing great. We was winning. And, hell, we won Henry. Won Missouri State Fair. I don't know. We won several hooks and just luck. It was just luck, but we won. And get to Macville, and I drove first night, won it. And, of course, they brought me back on the track, me and the tractor. Macville's a great hook. Great hook. Thousands of people. I mean,
I've been told.
A lot of people. And presented me with a cooler and all this stuff. And, the crowd was out around our trailer after the pull that night. Mitchell goes, I want to drive tomorrow night. Okay. You're driving. And
I didn't get a lot of advice.
He did too. I told him exactly what to do with the throttle, what to do with the clutch.
But he didn't tell me what it felt like if it actually hooks up.
So listen.
Felt like I lost the sled, so I let out of
it. He drive first time. He brings ours up perfect. The water kicks on, smoke turns black.
Take off.
He takes off, front end comes off the ground, and
it took off.
He immediately let out of it, went sideways, and the sled hit him in the ass. And I'm like, what in the hell just happened? So, I thought something's went wrong with the tractor. I don't know what. And we got him off the track back in the pits. And I said, Mitchell, what the hell happened? He looks at me and he said, Chris, he said, I brought the RPMs up. And he said, the clutch took over and started moving. And he said, when that thing took off, I thought I lost the sled. He thought the sled come unhooked because of how much torque it had when it took off.
It smoothed out and took off.
He said, I couldn't hear anything, thought I lost the sled, so he let out throttle. Well, that wasn't good because he was moving. And that's a hilarious story. And, we still talk about that all the time. And he come back and redeemed himself. You can see behind me, you guys.
Lincoln.
You see that picture up there?
Yep.
The front end in there in Lincoln, Nebraska, the indoor pool, he took first place, put it in the sand pile. Proud of it. I'm proud
Hey,
of it.
what year was that?
Driving at a wall the first time. I knew I was going to hit the sand pile. I just didn't know how hard. I knew it.
That deserves to be on the back of a T-shirt.
Chris is like, don't let out of it no matter what happens.
I told him, I said, whatever you do not let out of it. That sand pile is going to come up on you. And if you let out, you know these indoor pools, if you let out of it too quick, what? Cost you 2 inches, and that's what beat you.
It was coming up fast.
He didn't do it. He put her on top of the sand pile and won it. And
atta baby.
And that was with I'm going to be honest, I got to put a plug in for Hart's. You know, Brandon Hart and Dustin, they gave us an injection pump that week, and we put it on there, and that thing was unbelievable.
It was actually the smaller pump.
It was a small pump. It was a 13 mil pump. And
what do you guys usually run?
And won that pole, and Brandon was there. I can still remember he come over and hugged me that night when we won that pole with his old 13 mil. It was his old 13 millimeter pump. They'd went to the new 16 or 14 or whatever the hell they put on. And he goes, I want that pump back. I said, no. That was good times back in them days. But this other picture, if you can see it, the one with all the flames.
Bring the camera up and bring the phone over because we can't see it. I know the photo you're talking about, but there we go.
You see that?
Yep.
I don't know who took that picture.
I don't even know that somebody.
I don't know if that was Rodney Crum.
Wasn't Rodney. Wasn't you, was it, Ryan?
It was not. I wasn't there. I think that was Mike Muslin.
I don't know.
I think it was Mike, because we were standing down at the end of the track. I could feel the heat. I was that close.
Yep.
Well, I knew what it was doing. It was putting smoke out front of the hood. I knew it was fuel on the exhaust. I just didn't know how much. And I thought our last pass, we had the timing turned up. I thought, I ain't letting out this son of a bitch.
There we go.
But when I pulled the throttle back, I was like, shit.
I got him backed in and went up there and made sure he was in the right gear and fist bumped him. And I backed off there at the starting line. Of course, the cameras were there rolling, and, I had to duck the camera that came over my head. And he brought the RPMs up, and as soon as he left the line, the white smoke was coming out around the base of the stack, and I knew what that was.
Well, we both did, because
I knew that was fuel, and there wasn't anything I could do. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't run fast enough to get in front of him. So I just stood there and watched it, and he kept going and kept going and kept going. But down there at the very end, when the flames came out,
I saw it light.
I went, oh shit, not good.
I saw it flash under the hood. I didn't realize how much fuel was under me.
Unbelievable looking at that picture. You would think that it did a ton of damage, and we drug that tractor back in the pits. And the next day, of course, it was 2-day hook. Of course, we don't. 4-1's only hook on Friday, and we're staying for the Saturday night show. And we took that tractor the next morning over to the car wash there, which is so cool. Wheelin's a fantastic facility, and we took it over to the car wash and washed everything off, brought it back down there, and the fuel input fitting that goes on the back of the injection pump had come loose, and it was spraying fuel right on the turbo. And we tightened that fitting up and fired the tractor up, and it ran fine. And other than a few wires being burnt, didn't hurt a thing, but it looked really, really bad. And the cool thing about that was that pole that year, that video got showed 900 times. Nobody remembered who won the class. but they all remembered us catching on fire. And I went to John Christie later and I said, you know what? If you pay us enough money, we'll set this thing up to do this every week.
Yeah.
I'm serious. You know, pay us X amount of dollars. We'll set it up so that happens every week. And then the crowd will go crazy. You'll sell lots of tickets and you will.
I walked in the house with my fire suit. My wife take it back out. Said that is reeking of diesel fuel, but it did not light me up. I don't know how. I didn't realize how much was getting sprayed on me going down the track.
Very lucky, very lucky. He was. I'm glad he wasn't hurt. And
well, I know that track guy, that safety guy, was on me the minute I got off the throttle. I mean, he was right there.
Well, guys, I hate to run, but I've got an early morning, so I'm going to have to let you go. We'll see you in a couple of weeks, and looking forward to it. So,
Chris, thanks for coming on with us tonight. Once again, before all you guys get off, thank you to each and every one of you for helping make Rumble by the Refuge a successful event. We depend on you guys a lot, and that I know you don't get told often enough how important you guys' job is. You know, each and every one of you. You know, from the cameraman all the way down to Laura the unhooker and everybody in between. It takes a team to make a good pull, and we have one of the best teams, and thank you guys for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, buddy.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
We'll be here, hopefully, God willing, and the creeks don't rise. We'll be here.
And even sometimes when they do.
Right, exactly. We still find a way to do it. It's just, we have to levitate one of the Bowsmans to do it.
I will promise you this. If it rains us out on Friday night, we'll watch Toma on the big screen if they're not rained out.
And that's a damn good time as well. So
yeah, there was a couple of years ago that happened, and I drove home instead of staying there for that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a dummy for that.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
I'm just a shade closer than you are, so that's only fair.
There's truth to that. So, all right, guys. Well, listen, we've taken, I don't know, 2.25 hours of your time. You're never going to get that back. We apologize for that. We hope that it was worth it. And at the end of the day, we sure hope you come to Mound City.
Well, yeah, we want to the fans that are watching, please come. We're going to put on one hell of a show. And if the weather gods cooperate, we'll put on one hell of a show, and we'll do our best to take care of everybody, and look forward to seeing all you people. Do want to throw in, we have unlimited camping. We have tons of camping space. Any of you out there that want to bring a fifth wheel, we got a place to put you. We'll get you in there, put you up. Anything you need, look at the flyer. The flyers are on, of course, all the websites. If you need anything, my number's on there. Call me. I'll do what I can to help you.
Deal.
And he means that.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, and Ryan, thank you for helping us with Kara too.
Oh, you bet. You bet. As a matter of fact, shout those guys out because I've seen their work on with promoting your show, and it kicks ass.
Rival Design, she does some really cool design. She's doing a good job getting stuff out there. I'm not a Facebook person, so I don't see a lot of it till later on. But I know the stuff she did last year turned out really good, and I got to see the analytics on it, and it all looked pretty good.
Yeah, she does a good job.
And she does a lot with Nebraska Bush. That's kind of how I came across her. She kind of understands tractor pulling too. That helps.
Yep.
So.
And for those of you that show up Friday evening, or Thursday evening, the ritual. We'll all be at Quackers and we'll eat a steak. So
there you go. So if you're coming down for the show,
what's
come
that?
down a night. I mean, so basically, if you're coming out for the show, come a night early and get dinner on Chris.
Yeah.
Let's give Quackers the benefit of the
Laura,
doubt.
do we have a date, cousin?
We do.
I figured that.
I think.
Sounds good to me.
Waegele, I love you. I didn't mean to do that.
I have a problem with that because Mears will be here and he picks up the tab. So
that's even better.
Come one, come all. Mears picks up the tab. We'll be fine.
Chris?
Sounds like a good time for me.
I was going to say, Chris, when you get a phone call from Christy and or John, you're required to text every damn one of us.
Folks, don't forget propulling.tv. Live stream.
TV.
There you go. If you can't join us in person, and the show, obviously, it's a lot better in person. It always is, and we all know that. But, if you're on an airplane flying, or you can't get here because you're 12, 13 hours away or whatever, buy the live stream. Pretty darn close.
Propulling.tv. Sunday, or you can buy a weekend pass at a reduced rate and watch both shows. And both shows should be fantastic.
Anyway. All right. Any of the rest of you guys have any last words of wisdom? And we're going to close this off to Waegele because if we ask him, he'll start sharing wisdom, and then we're not going to get on off this call until like 2 a.m.
I'm shutting my phone off. He's done.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm going to bring Tucker in.
Yeah.
Oh, God. He's been in the garage for hours.
Oh, my goodness.
And we'll be done about 30 in the morning.
You're right. Waegele, I saw what you were doing there. For those of you who have never had a phone call with Clint Tucker when he's in a talkative mood, we'll let you know.
When he's been in the garage?
Yep. You can let us know when you have that phone call. We have a club. There's a patch.
Clint's sister told me out at Gordyville, she goes, I don't answer his phone calls after 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Kara was not kidding.
No, she wasn't.
I do want to say
She was
this
not kidding
about Clint Tucker. Clint builds our tracks, and there's a reason for that. I think everybody that knows Clint, he can build, and his brother Spike. I call him Spike.
Nick.
His name to me is Spike Tucker. There's a story behind that, but I'm not going to get into it. But anyway,
fair enough.
Spike and Clint, if you just turn them guys loose on a track, they can make 2 of the best tracks in the nation. Mm-hmm. And there's nobody better. There is nobody better than those guys. Thank you. And, kudos to them. And we pretty much just turn it over to them when they get here. And, they'll look at the class lineup and go, okay, we got this, and this on the south track. We got this, and this on the north track. And we'll build 2 different tracks.
Yep.
And that's pretty amazing. It is. It's pretty amazing what they do. Kudos to those guys. They help us a ton. And I want to thank them for everything they do for us.
Good deal. Well, with that being said, it looks like we've already actually maybe put Laura to sleep.
I'm not asleep yet.
You are full of crap. You were dozing off.
No, I'm not. I made it
Whatever.
to the bed.
Laura.
Good for you. But anyway, listen, we're going to call this one. Guys, thank everybody for coming on. The Mound City show has always become one of my very favorite shows of the year. I won't miss it for as long as these guys will have me. And my guess is that Cody's about the same way, because Cody's had a lot of good shots there and a lot of fun there and so on and so forth. And the rest of these guys, it's one of their favorite places to play everywhere. So hopefully in a couple of weeks, we see you guys there, or you're at least watching, the shenanigans on the live stream. ProPulling.tv.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right. See you guys.
Night.
Later on.